So, thinking back to 2018, it brought some pretty great games. I'm talking Spider-Man PS4, Red Dead Redemption 2, Monster Hunter World, and my second favorite release of that year, God of War. Now, when you hear the name God of War, you think intense action, gore, maybe possibly some boobs, but you don't instantly think a touching story of a father and son building a relationship while they embark on a journey to simply spread a loved one's ashes. No, you think, I'm gonna kill some fucking gods now because I'm the God of War and war means death. But the newest entry into the series changes that. An excellent mix of high-octane action with those slow, somber moments used to build relationships and add depth to these characters. God of War manages to break the mold of the other games in the franchise. It did so for the better, crafting an intriguing story and grounding our new Kratos in this world with new threats while protecting his son and trying to keep the past buried. Now, I originally wanted to do an in-depth story recap for those who haven't had a chance to experience this wonderful game and for those few that don't know the story of the original, but sadly, I'm not that talented. So instead, I'm going to leave some videos in the description, links to those down there. Please take time to go watch those if you don't know the story so far. And with that, we'll do a story segment, then gameplay, final thoughts, and then the video's over, and then you can go about your day. So, now, spoiler warning, of course, there's no real way to hide what this game does and tries to set out, and a lot of the key moments of this game are quite spoiler filled. So, I'm going to be explaining some major twists, some basic story plot details, and the ending of the game. So if you haven't played this game, this is your spoiler warning. The game's on PC and PlayStation. Sorry for those Xbox fans, but you've been warned. Skip to this time in the video if you wish not to be spoiled, and just hop right into the quick gameplay section at the end. Okay. Are we gone? Alright, cool. God of War's story is absolutely fantastic. I mean, I wasn't expecting a story with this much emotion and depth from a series that used to be about killing gods in increasingly gory ways. But this game is different for sure, with the action and gore taking a slight back seat to make way for Santa Monica's storytelling to take the center place that it well deserves. So, What is the story? Kratos and his son Atreus must make a journey to the highest peak in all the 9 realms to spread his wife's ashes. Along this journey, Kratos and Atreus will meet few friendly people and
You were right. Say, you must be smart or something, boy. You're a boy, aren't you?
countless foes, from trolls to the Aesir gods of Asgard.
Yourselves to impress Daddy.
The tattooed man tracks show he now travels with a child. Where would they go next?
Why would I know that?
The journey is about Kratos bonding with his son, forging a new relationship with Atreus, and filling the absence of the wife and mother figure of their life, Faye.
See that mountain?
So, some may be confused. I thought God of War was about killing as many gods while we can die a bunch and then come back to kill more gods. You'd be correct. The previous trilogy was about that. It was about Kratos just killing a pantheon. This is different. This breaks that mold and kind of follows the same deep character-driven story and more focused on the building on a relationship than the journey from The Last of Us. Now, that's probably a big, it's kind of a cliche now, I guess. And maybe the archetype of gruff old man takes care of child on an adventure, slowly forming a new bond, is a little played out, but it's a damn good story type. And I'm not just talking about The Last of Us, but I'm talking The Mandalorian and Logan. These are the first examples that come to mind when I think about this story, and I am very happy that God of War did this story while improving upon it and adding some new things and making it its own. And that is some good shit. And then The Mandalorian fucking changed Star Wars for the better. Let's go. Oh, fucking Boba Fett. You see that shit the other day? Our last episode's gonna be cool. Gonna probably talk about the series after next week once the final episode's out. I got some things to say, but we'll save that for another time. Back to God of War. But somehow, Santa Monica manages to pull it off. I feel safe to say that this is the best PlayStation exclusive to come out if it wasn't for my love of Spider-Man, The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima. If Ghost of Tsushima comes out on PC, I got some videos to make on that. Horizon Zero Dawn, the best one of all, Knack 2. Telling an engaging story with a nice balance of action with those slower story building moments. They did it. They pulled it off. Now, I want to talk about bosses you face in the story. Now, this is nothing new, but God of War is known for its intense bosses with a gory ending, usually ripping off a god's head or doing some other ungodly amount of damage to your enemies. This game kind of lacks those moments, but it supplements them with some things that I quite actually liked a lot better. This isn't our average Kratos. He is a much more reserved, calmer, more reduced, whatever. It's not the same Kratos from before. He is now trying to learn how to be a father figure again and try to live in the future and forget the past that he has left behind. Now, if you're wondering why is Kratos like this, it's because he's learned the mistake of what killing a god means, and with that he has changed, and now he's just here to build a new life. So I feel the amount of boss fights that we had in the game go hand in hand with the story they are trying to tell. But with the boss fights, there are some really great ones. The Magni Modi fight, all the Baldur fights were really cool. There's a dragon fight, that was dope. The first troll fight was kind of cool. The other 9 troll fights were not cool. The fucking Valkyries, I'm gonna talk about the Valkyries real quick, cause while you exploring through the game, you can find these little vaults, and I'm gonna talk about this also in the gameplay part. But the Valkyries are some of the fucking best bosses I have faced in a long while. Talk about a real challenge in trying to use everything you've learned up until that point. It was great. It was fun. Please face the Valkyries. There are 9 of them, including the Queen. You gotta beat 8, and then you can get the Queen. And oh my fucking god, the Queen is just terrifying. She is if you're not prepared, you're going to lose. But back to the boss fights and their endings. There are some pretty decent boss fight kills. Mainly the dragon. Absolutely maiming Modi. Some of the troll kills are alright, and then with the both times you kill Baldur being honestly, in my eyes, the most brutal kills in the game. There's just something about Kratos, and we see him use all this power, but he just can't be bothered, and it's just a simple neck snap. I don't know what it is about seeing all, we chop people's heads off, we fucking cut them in half, but when Kratos snaps a man's neck, there's something about that sets it off, and I was like, okay, that was a serious kill. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I guess yeah, I talked about the Valkyries. Alright, okay, cool. We're good. We're good. We're great. Yeah. We're gonna talk about the gameplay section, so see you there. This game does change up the gameplay aspects from the last ones. Instead of being the hack-and-slash-action games that they are known to be, it is now, for a lack of better terms, a Dark Souls-esque playstyle. Heavy amounts of parrying combined with a flurry of light and heavy attacks, but where it differs is in the runic abilities. You have, special abilities. While holding up your shield, you can either do a heavy attack or light attack, and Kratos will pull out some runic magic from his axe or the blades of chaos. And these are amazing. From the vast amount of abilities there are and their buffs and nerfs, and to just the animations alone, these are some splendid animations. Chaining together a combo of light attacks that lead into a heavy runic is extremely satisfying, and it makes you feel like you're back playing the old games. But Kratos isn't the only one with runic attacks. Atreus is also able to use a runic arrow, summoning all kinds of animals to do different things. A stampede of boar, a downfall of crows, to even a fucking squirrel that digs up rage crystals. If you think that's kind of cool, that's fucking cool, because it's a squirrel. Nobody would think a squirrel is going to do damage, but they I have not personally found it in my game. It is one of the harder runes to find, so just know it's out there. There's a video right there of it. See? It's happening. There it is. So, but alongside his runic abilities, he also has a normal arrow, which is just used to basic stun enemies, and then 2 magic arrows. A light energy arrow that you obtain fairly early in the game, and then an electric energy arrow, which you obtain after defeating the dragon. But Atreus can also learn basic melee combat skills to aid Kratos by stunning enemies and putting them in a choke lock, leaving them open for Kratos to sneak in a huge amount of damage with a stun attack, or just a basic amount of, light attacks mixed with a heavy attack, or setting them up for a big runic area effect attack. But these stun attacks are probably the best thing in the game. From curb stopping Draugr to splitting them in 2. These are some of my favorite moments, and any opportunity I found, I would stun an enemy and kill them with some beautiful animation, usually chopping them in half, throwing them into a crowd, curb stomping their face, and it's like, if you want the gore, there's the gore in the game. And when you're not splitting skulls and taking names, you'll be able to explore the world of Midgard, Alfheim, and Helheim, with the other realms being used as challenge arenas, Midgard having the most to explore with the woods, the Lake of the Nine, Tyr's Temple, the mountain, the mines, the other mine, this cave, the dead giant, especially this cold cave. There's just so much to explore and see, with a good amount of great side quests to do, along with a fuck ton of world building. Throughout the map, you'll find these little shrines and I guess panels of tiers, like just building up, and there's a lot of like tablets to read. Atreus can learn different languages. You can learn more fucking shit. It is so fucking cool, and it was cool. Now, speaking of the side quests, there is something that this game does, and I think it was pretty unique. I haven't seen it personally in a game before, but say you finish, you coming back, you get back to your boat, and Atreus says,
"Explore some more. We got that chisel now, and that vault isn't going anywhere. Seems a shame to waste the boat."
We shall see, boy.
It's pretty much saying, hey, you don't have to do the story missions. You're fucking God of War. Go do a side mission. Go pillage this cave. Go free this dragon. Go collect these bones. And honestly, That is some fucking cool shit. It just adds to the immersion. You actually feel like you're Kratos. And you're like, okay,
Go ahead.
I guess this is what the story wants me to do. You know, this isn't just a linear game. This is an adventure. And adventures have breaks where they diverge off the beaten path. And then they return to them. So it is really nice. And it makes this game kind of feel like a big, like, series, like a TV show, with these side quests adding as, like, you know, filler breaks. And I found myself doing quite a bit the first time the gameplay came out. Like, as soon as I would get off and Atreus would say some of that shit, I'd be like, alright, we're going to do all of them, and then we'll get back once we're fully geared up. Okay? Cool. And it's just a nice thing for immersion, and it's not gameplay. I just thought it was cool. But that's enough about gameplay. Alright? It's time for my final thoughts. This video is going on long enough. I'll see you in that section.
How do we get down?
We jump.
Really?
Come. Do not panic.
Why would I panic?
I have you.
You're cracked, you know that?
God of War 2018 is simply a masterpiece, to say the least. If you haven't played this game, then what's stopping you? Experience one of the best PlayStation 4 games that the PlayStation 4 had to offer, and prepare for a story to continue and end in God of War Ragnarok. That's right, it's not going to be a trilogy, it's a duo of movies. There's going to be this duo of movies. It's a duology of games. There's the 2018 game, and then Ragnarok is going to end the Norse continuity of the series, and that's pretty cool. So, you know, you got time to pick up this game, play it before the new one comes out later this year. I hope it comes out on PC. If it does, you know it, I'll be talking about it. If it doesn't come out on PC, well, fuck, I guess I'm gonna have to get a capture card. I guess it's gonna have to happen. But honestly, I doubt this game can count for the Game Awards for 2022. But that shit could. I'd voted for it again. There's just something about this story that really grabbed me and sucked me into the world, getting attached to characters only to, by the end, have my feelings change for them completely, and watching Kratos and Atreus become closer and form a bond that wasn't there before. I won't lie, it made me shed a tear when those credits rolled. So, this game was so good, and that's why I think it still deserves to be a good hefty 9 boys out of 10. I think this game should be played by anyone who is interested in it, and that is a fucking fact. Please play the game. So with that all being said, please have a good day or a good night. I don't know your time zones. Sorry this took a bit to get out. There was a blizzard and I was without power for a few days. So that's why I uploaded the Fortnite video instead of this. So some things to look forward to in the near future. A third and final Fortnite video. Only for the time being. I don't want to just keep playing that game over and over again. So I've gathered some games I can play with friends and some VR games I want to play. And then maybe in the future I'll do another fucking Fortnite thing. I don't know. But I want to play some other games for the time being. As for the next review, I have a few ideas. I could do the Halo Infinite review. I could get back into the Resident Evil reviews with Resident Evil 4 PC/VR. With Boba Fett ending next week, I could do a Jedi Fallen Order review. I'm going to be hopping back into that game and playing that. So, I mean, I might as well do that game. But if there's also any other games you think or want me to cover and think I would enjoy playing, then
For another day.
yeah, leave them in the comments, you big smelly person. Okay, bye. Enjoy. And namaste or some shit like that. Bye.
行くぞ